Team-ups, crossovers, features, and special guests. These are all the ultimate forms of fan service. What's up, Doc? I'm Pugs Bunny, and we like to talk about comics on this channel. Today, we're going to dive into a one-shot comic released in 1996, Lobo and Judge Dredd, Psycho Bikers vs. Mutants from Hell, written by Alan Grant and John Wagner. Now, before getting into the crossover, let's catch anyone up on who Lobo and Judge Dredd are. Lobo is an interstellar mercenary and bodyguard. Created in the 80s to be a satire of Wolverine, Lobo didn't get much traction and quickly fell out with the writers. But he was revived in the 90s, and artist Simon Beasley's art style really gave Lobo personality, and his 90s series parodied the grim and gritty hero stories at the time, having him in adventures like being contracted by the Easter Bunny to kill Santa. Little did writer Alan Grant know, Lobo was about to be very popular among DC fans. Ever since, Lobo has made regular appearances in many comics, TV shows, and books. Soon to be in a movie, fingers crossed. Judge Dredd is known as the most famous street judge. A street judge is someone with the power to be able to arrest, convict, sentence, and execute criminals at their own discretion. But they're not above the law. And Judge Dredd is one of those guys that are very by the books and by the law. Being a clone of his father, who was the founder of the judge system, Dredd patrols Mega City 1, which covers most of the east coast of North America, and exists in 2099, which isn't that far away. He's basically everything Lobo was a parody of. He got 2 live-action movies in 1995 and 2012, and even has a current running comic. So now that everyone has an idea of who Lobo and Judge Dredd are, let's get into their crossover. The story begins with a shot of a space station, WKN, home of an intergalactic celebrity, Uncle Funkle. He's hired Lobo to be his personal bodyguard, and Unc goes to shower, leaving Lobo free to rummage around the room for more lug beer. But instead of beer, he finds the bloated body of a stabbed Uncle Funkle. Suddenly, we see some mutants teleport in, ready to show their faces to Uncle. The 3 here are Zips, Buttface, and Kneecap. You can kind of probably figure out why they have those names. They attempt to take Unc, but he refuses, sicking Lobo on them. While they fight, Unc runs to the shower and pulls his head, stretching it like a rubber band, trying to shove himself down the drain. Lobo notices and he grabs Unc, and he starts interrogating him about the money he's owed, knowing that this ain't actually Uncle Funkle. And Lobo successfully does pull Unc out, but the mutant known as Kneecap flashes a light in Lobo's face, knocking him out. We cut to an aerial shot of Mega City 1, a vast metropolis of the 22nd century. It's here where we meet Judge Dredd. He spots 2 armed power boarders. He gets orders that they might be trying to assassinate the Belgian president, which is actually just a 9-year-old who's jogging with his security. The boarders pull up and start firing at the president and his guard. As one zips by, it's revealed that he wasn't actually going to kidnap the president. He was trying to get the necklace, which has a green ring tied to it. Dredd, not having it, pulls up, blasting with so much firepower, even his bike is shooting guns. He kills the boarders and catches the ring. Dredd gives it back, but he doesn't have time for all this. He reports guards to protect the kid. Under the streets of Mega City, we see the mutants return with Lobo and Unc as their prisoners. Unc is brought forth to another throne with another ring resting on the hand of a skeleton. But then it's revealed that this skeleton is alive, and the ring has done this to him. He threatens to destroy Unc, blasting at him with the ring. Unc recoils in horror, seeing the monster the ring had made of his once brother, Murphy. Forcing Unc to help with the threat of his pet mouse being killed, we cut back to Lobo waking up. Looking around for Unc, he comes across a dimensional jump belt. He takes the belt and he sees that it's programmed to send him to Earth, and he puts 2 and 2 together and realizes they're from Earth, so that's why these mutants are so ugly. We cut to the president being tucked in by his servant, but when she goes to the bathroom to powder her nose, aka just kind of blow off some steam because this kid's a brat, Unc pops up through the toilet, covering her mouth and tying her up. He takes her clothes and shapeshifts into her, or returning back to the Belgian president. In Unc's hands is the big book of Belgian stories, and he takes it and he whacks the president in the head with it. He grabs the ring and dips out the front. Back to Lobo. He's using the belt to teleport with his bike, looking for a way out, and at one wrong turn, he's encountered by a very mad man, Mean Machine. He attacks Lobo and the two begin fighting, and guards dressed like Dredd run into the room, revealing Lobo had actually teleported into Mean Machine's prison cell. Lobo blasts through a wall, Eminem clinging onto the back of his bike. The two catch Dredd's attention. Eminem falls off and lands in front of a granny, and Eminem knows that when he's gone, Lobo won't be able to carry on the story. Eminem smacks that grandma to the floor after asking if he's okay, and then he snags grandma's hover round to show that he's not afraid and that he's going to take a stand toward any old lady that dare gets in his way, and then he pursues Lobo. Lobo rides into the sewer as Eminem trails behind him, Dredd also following the line. So we cut back to Unc giving the ring over for his mouse. But suddenly, Lobo rolls up on Mad Murph and the mutants and damn near immediately starts blasting. Mutants begin to fall left and right, and the real Eminem stands up for Lobo and begins attacking. Dredd pulls up, but he sees his AT&T phone doesn't have much service, so he pulls the strap, firing some warning shots, commanding everyone's attention. He places everyone under arrest, but they respond with bullets. Lobo and Dredd get face to face, but before anything could happen, Dredd tells him and Eminem to cuff themselves while he handles the mutants. And Eminem begins to stand for Dreddy in the stalker obsessive fan way, while Lobo follows Dredd on his bike. Eminem isn't going to let them go without him, calling a truce. Then we get to see a whole lot of ADHD heavy scenes with loud colors and very busy panels. But it does get very gory, and it's clear these mutants stood no chance. We see Kneecap looking on in horror, when suddenly, he's kneecapitated, leaving only the bottom part of his leg to hop away. The big mutant, Zips, is gunned down. Buttface, being the last mutant, hears a taunt from Lobo. "Sit on this!" as he throws a sickle straight into Butt's face. He rides on by on his bike, still pursuing Dredd, and Eminem trying desperately to keep up. Dredd pulls up on Mad Murphy, and Lobo finds Unc. Eminem, who was trying to keep up, leaps over Lobo and lands on top of Unc, knocking him out. Murphy, now powered by the twin rings, states he walks with the gods. He attacks Dredd, but Lobo's sickle slices through Murphy, who counters, and Eminem cranks it up to 4 and leaps through Murphy, crashing into the wall behind him, not loving the way he lied. Turning into a badass skeleton beast, Murphy entraps Dredd, and as he goes to finish Dredd, Unc shape-shifted into their deceased mother, scolding Murphy, and making him admit to being the reason behind his mother's death. This distracts Murphy long enough for Dredd and Lobo to use incinerary and frag grenades to destroy Mad Murphy. Unc mourns the loss of his brother as Dredd retrieves the rings. Lobo heckles Unc for his money, but when he doesn't pay up, and he teleports them both away before Dredd could reach them. Dredd cuffs Eminem, who's still in the wall after losing himself, and hauls him off. And Lobo, annoyed that Unc can't pay up, forces Unc to shapeshift into a wanted fugitive, turning him in so he could collect the bounty and have his debt squared. We end on Melvin the Mouse shrugging to the camera, sporting a really cool wise beard. And there we have it. Lobo and Dredd, featuring Eminem. It's not bad. It had one issue to tell their story, and I think it's fun. Not the best team up, but definitely one of the more unexpected ones. The enemy they had was pretty cool. At first he was looking kinda lame, looking like that skeleton pirate thing from Dragon Ball. The twin rings is a cool concept too. Kinda makes me think of a Green Lantern ring and a Red Lantern ring wielded by one person. It's nice to see different artifacts that aren't in the mainstream being used. Granted, this did come out in 1996, so nothing exactly was in the mainstream at the time. And its henchmen are really ugly and goofy. They're mutants, and you know, this is supposed to be kind of a funny comic too. It's a bunch of gore, violence, and blood, and fun, which I know Lobo fans eat that stuff up. And I haven't read a lot of Dredd, but from what I've seen from Judge Dredd, the fans of those comics probably eat this violence up too. I like it, personally. It's fun and out there. So this team up succeeded in ways that I'm sure they wanted to. And maybe one day we can see a Lobo versus Judge Dredd instead of a team up, more like a versus. I'd like to see these two go at it. It'd be interesting. But anyways, if you have any ideas for cool team ups or versus or crossovers or whatever I stated at the beginning, comment below and let me know, and I'll definitely check them out. Until next time, have a great day.